If you've ever thought about starting chiropractic or nervous system based care, but felt nervous about what would actually happen during that first visit, this episode is for you. Let's take the mystery out of it. Welcome to Healing Beyond the Symptoms, the podcast that helps people discover the root causes of their health struggles and take back control with science, strategy, and self awareness. I'm Dr. Leah Hahn, a chiropractor and functional wellness doctor who believes that true healing starts beneath the surface. So let's dive in. Walking into a doctor's office, especially a new doctor's office, can feel intimidating, especially if you've had experiences where you weren't listened to or where things felt very rushed or transactional. So many people tell me, I almost didn't come to see you because I didn't know what to expect. And when your health already feels overwhelming, that fear of the unknown can be the biggest barrier to receiving the care that you need. Today, I want to walk you through exactly what happens during your first visit at Body and Balance step by step. No surprises, no jargon, just clarity and reassurance. The first thing I want to tell you about Body and Balance is that we designed it to have a very nurturing and relaxing type atmosphere. It's very family friendly, and it's not a sterile clinic. Our focus is safety, calm, and connection from the moment you walk in the door. Our team always will greet you by name. You'll be oriented to the space, and you'll be given time to settle. This is not a 5-minute in or out experience. We value presence. The atmosphere itself is such an important part of your healing journey. I want to share with you why I became a chiropractor. This has so much to do with how I grew up. I was a very determined, highly stressed kid. But one of the things that really started to happen is my mom actually started to experience more and more health challenges. And she visited doctor after doctor who prescribed her lots of different medications. And they finally uncovered that she had rheumatoid arthritis and a kind of a combination of autoimmune conditions. And she kept seeing different doctors and trying to go that medical path. And I, at the same time, thought I wanted to be a medical doctor. And eventually, she decided that seeing all these different doctors wasn't really making a difference. Being on lots of medications was actually making her more ill. And one of my dad's friends actually recommended that she start to see a chiropractor. And I have to tell you that my mom was really opposed to this. It was completely out of her perspective or kind of her frame of reference to see a chiropractor. And what she discovered when she started working with that chiropractor is that the lifestyle that she was living wasn't conducive to healing. It wasn't helping her to thrive. She really needed to change her diet. She needed to be on some supplements that would help her. But then the biggest change that happened was when she learned about her nervous system and when she started to discover that it would make a really big difference if she could regulate her stress more efficiently. So, with nervous system based chiropractic, she was really able to go into a state of healing. I was so inspired by this, and it really started to transform my whole way of thinking. I actually started to work with a chiropractor myself, and I realized what a sensitive person I was and how much stress I had absorbed throughout elementary school, high school, and even into college. And so I actually was planning on going to medical school and instead changed my path and decided to go to chiropractic school. I wanted to help people heal just like my mom was able to heal. My life was transformed so much through chiropractic care. My family's life has been transformed so much through chiropractic care. I want other people to have access to that. I want them to be able to get that healing information that nervous system based chiropractic can provide. And so I'm hoping that I can make this process a little more comfortable for you so you can start your own individualized healing journey. The first step in this process is I want you to take some moments to really think about what your health history looks like. When you come into our office, we want to know about you. We want to know about different stressors that you've experienced, and we like to ask some deeper questions, like when do you feel most disconnected from yourself? What are your biggest stressors? And also, what do you want to create more of in your life? I also like to ask the questions, what can we do to meet your expectations? What are your goals? You will feel heard, and that's the difference at Body and Balance. This isn't about chasing symptoms, it's about connecting the dots. It's about looking at the whole picture and really understanding you and what your needs are. It's like putting together the pieces of a puzzle. Your story gives us the pieces we need to see the whole picture. It's really important to understand that there's testing that can be done to determine how the nervous system is functioning. And the coolest part about it is that it's non-invasive. It doesn't put anything into the body, but it measures how the nervous system is functioning. We look at how the muscles are functioning. We look at patterns of inflammation. We're able to do measurements as well called heart rate variability testing that, again, is non-invasive, but it measures how your autonomic nervous system is functioning. Is it shunted more towards the sympathetic side or the fight or flight side? Or is it shunted more towards the parasympathetic side? Again, we want balance. So we would love to see that it's balanced in between the two. But I have to tell you, for most clients coming in, it's definitely shunted more towards the fight or flight side of physiology. Another thing that I want to see when we're doing that testing is the patterning that your nervous system moved into. Most people don't realize that so much of that patterning is not just from physical injuries that have happened throughout your life. It's really how your body has handled stress repeatedly. And so that actually forms different tension patterns that we may see on the spinal testing. And sometimes, if necessary, we will take x-rays. And those x-rays can really start to demonstrate how the spine has changed over many, many years. So then again, we're able to see the chronic patterning of the system. And remember, patterning can be changed, but we need to understand and get a baseline of where the nervous system is at before we can start to make those individualized changes for you. I want to emphasize that in order to change how the spine is functioning, it doesn't have to be cracking or popping or twisting. It can be such gentle contacts that are made specifically to your needs and your nervous system. Those contacts are typically made on the top and the bottom of the spine. And the reason that is that those are the areas where the spinal cord connects to the bony part of the spine. We can make the biggest changes in the connective tissue, how the muscles, tendons, ligaments, how the actual bony part of the spine is functioning when we are very specific with those contacts that are made to the spine. And again, they're individualized towards you and your spinal needs. Throughout that testing process, our whole goal is again to see how your nervous system is functioning. Is it resilient or is it stuck? Is it stuck in a pattern that's helping you heal, or is it stuck in a pattern that is creating chronic stress, creating overwhelm and fatigue within the body, or not allowing it to heal at its best? One of the keys at Body and Balance is that we want to communicate every step of the process. Every step is explained, and you're an active participant in the process. Another thing to realize about this process is that we don't guess. We gather your results and then we schedule a follow-up time. My partner in practice and I will always look over your entire history. We'll look over what your goals are, what your expectations are. We're going to look at the nervous system-based testing. If we have x-rays, we're going to be looking at that information. We sometimes have testing that is provided from other doctors' offices as well. We'll put all of that information together to really thoroughly look at what your needs are. What's going to best help you heal? And then we're going to sit down and we're going to explain those test results to you. Again, you're an active participant in the process. So it's really important that you understand what's happening within your body and really can take ownership of that. When you understand and you have education and you can take ownership, it is a game changer in the healing process. That way, you're going to understand your responsibility, things that you can do outside of care that will help you to regulate the nervous system, pieces of your lifestyle that you can work on shifting. And then we're going to go through that process of gentle spinal adjustments, nervous system-based care that's going to put your body into healing mode. That's going to be the key in terms of turning around this whole situation so that we can put you into healing mode so you're thriving, not just surviving. We create what's called an action plan. So we do what's called a report of findings, where I explain we're going to look at your results, you're going to have time to ask questions, and we're going to create that plan of action. Again, if we're going to help the nervous system to heal and actually go into a state of reorganization, realize it's a process. It does not happen overnight, and healing will happen in waves. There's going to be times where there's a tremendous amount of healing, and then there might be a time where things kind of stabilize for a period of time. And then we go through another wave of healing. But we want to outline that, and we want to give you time in order to get really into the healing process so that your body can make dramatic shifts in terms of its healing capacity. Realize that this whole process is about listening to you, listening to your needs, but also teaching you how to listen to your own body, helping you reconnect to what your needs are, what your boundaries are. It's such an essential part of the healing process. I can give you so many stories about patients that came into our office for the first time that had been to other chiropractic offices or had only had experiences at medical doctors' offices. And they often found that they were so stressed coming in, and when they got into the environment of Body in Balance, they felt like they could actually exhale. They could actually breathe. They saw what the adjustment process was like, and I have to tell you, some people were skeptical because it is so gentle and it looks so gentle. What they found when they got on the table for the first time after they really understood what was happening within the nervous system, they were actually able to feel their body relax. They were able to take deeper breaths, and they were able to start to reclaim that sense of peace within their body. That wasn't just happening on a physical level, it was happening on an emotional level as well. You have to remember, the nervous system is so responsible for your emotions, how you perceive the world, your perspective on events, on life events, how you handle trauma, how you've handled trauma in the past, your emotional well-being, physical well-being. It's responsible for all of it. So when we really can start to receive that individualized nervous system-based care, it can be a game changer on your quality of life. When we really go into this process and what it looks like, your first visit is not about rushing into the adjustments themselves. It's about building trust and understanding. We want you to come prepared with your questions, your story, and what your goals are for healing. Realize that the care plan is created with your individual nervous system needs in mind. Everything is tailored to you. Thank you for joining me today on Healing Beyond the Symptoms. If fear of the unknown has kept you from taking the first step, I hope this episode helped you feel reassured about what your first visit with us would look like. If you're ready to start your journey toward deeper healing, I'd love to invite you to book a wellness consultation at bodyandbalancechiropractic.com. This is your chance to be heard, to be seen, and begin a path that goes beyond the symptoms. Until next time, remember, you are not broken, you are brilliant, and healing begins the moment you feel safe.